On September 11th, 2001, as the South Tower of the World Trade Center burned, an announcement echoed through the PA system. "The building is secure. Return to your desks." Most obeyed. But one man looked at his colleagues, grabbed a megaphone, and yelled, "Everything above the 44th floor, out now!" He didn't have authorization. He wasn't a firefighter. But he knew something they didn't. For 8 years, he had been predicting this exact nightmare. And because he broke the rules, 2,700 people walked out of that hellscape alive. But as the tower began to groan, he turned around and walked back up. This is the story of Rick Rescorla, the man who predicted the defining tragedy of the 21st century and gave everything to beat it. To understand why Rick Rescorla refused to listen to official orders on 9/11, you have to understand who he was. A British-born military veteran who later became an American citizen, Rick was a highly decorated army officer who fought in the brutal Battle of Ia Drang in Vietnam. He was a man forged in chaos. He knew what fear looked like, and more importantly, he knew how to lead men through it. By the 1990s, Rick was the head of security for Morgan Stanley, a massive financial firm occupying 22 floors of the World Trade Center's South Tower. Most people saw the towers as symbols of permanent, unshakable American prosperity. Rick saw them as a giant, vulnerable bullseye. In 1990, Rick and his close friend, a counterterrorism expert named Dan Hill, wrote a report warning that terrorists would try to fly a plane into the World Trade Center. The Port Authority ignored them. Then, in 1993, a truck bomb exploded in the basement of the North Tower. Rick's prophecy had begun. Fearing a secondary aerial attack was inevitable, Rick took matters into his own hands. He forced thousands of highly paid, stressed-out corporate executives, traders, and stockbrokers to do something they hated: random, unannounced evacuation drills. Every few months, Rick would sound the alarms. He would make them march down the cramped, dark stairwells,
4 abreast, counting their steps. People complained. They said it wasted time, ruined business, and caused panic. Rick didn't care. He told them, "Your life is my business." He was preparing them for a war they didn't know was coming. 8:46 a.m. The North Tower is hit. Chaos erupts. Inside the South Tower, Morgan Stanley employees look out the windows in horror. Then, the PA system cracks to life, telling everyone to stay put. Rick Rescorla didn't hesitate. He ignored the building management. He grabbed his bullhorn, a walkie-talkie, and his cell phone. Utilizing the exact muscle memory he had drilled into them for years, 2,700 employees moved seamlessly into the stairwells. At 9:03 a.m., United Flight 175 tore into the South Tower, right above them. The building swayed violently, walls cracked, and fireballs shot down the elevator shafts. But there was no stampede. There was no blind panic. Why? Because amidst the smoke and screaming, they could hear a voice singing. Rick was using his megaphone to sing old Welsh military marching songs to the evacuees. He smiled at them, cracked jokes. By 9:45 a.m., nearly all 2,700 Morgan Stanley employees were out on the street, safe. Rick was near the bottom of the tower. He called his wife, Susan. He told her, "Cry no more. I have to make sure everyone is out. If something happens to me, remember, you made my life." His colleagues begged him to leave with them. But Rick knew there were still people straggling on the upper floors. He turned around. Security cameras caught the last image of Rick Rescorla, walking calmly up the stairs into the smoke, bullhorn in hand. Minutes later, the South Tower collapsed. Rick's body was never found. He was one of only 13 Morgan Stanley employees who died that day. He spent his entire life preparing to save people he barely knew, and when the moment came, he chose to serve until his final breath. Some heroes wear capes. Others
wear a gray suit, carry a plastic megaphone, and sing songs in the dark. What would you have done on that stairwell? Let us know below. This is Survive or Serve. Stay brave.